calling tax office. How may I help you?
Well, howdy, howdy, hey, how you doing today?
Hello, how can I help you?
Hey, I just wanted to call and brighten your day a little bit.
I just wanted to brighten your day. Nah.
Fuck you, right? No,
See a thug and zero, yeah, I'm still bullshit. Need to sit down, take a chew and chew my money till we get. Wall, let it cool, was ain't talking. Money speak, all that bullshit, keep. Run the side, run.
You like getting your ass fucked?
No.
You ever done it?
No.
You ever put a finger up your butt?
Not my finger, but a doctor's.
You ever had a lover put their finger up your butt?
Yes,
What'd you
but it
think?
wasn't asked for.
Really? What'd you
Yeah.
think of it?
I was very caught off guard because it was the first time she had shown any interest in wanting to do that.
Uh-huh.
And so I just clenched the cheeks up really hard and
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, what are you doing back there?
How far did you get in?
She didn't get that far in.
Yeah. So you haven't done it all the way. You know there's a boner button up there, like a make you come hard button.
Yeah, it's like when you touch the prostate or whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like every fucking girl wants in your butthole.
I think so too.
It's nuts. They would think that they'll, change the wealth gap or something. It's not going to happen. Women want to, every girl I've ever dated.
That
they
full
wanna,
dollar is in the butthole.
It's not, baby. It's just more poop. I promise. People tell me that when someone first told me about the prostate, the idea that if you stick something up there, it makes your boners and makes coming better. I was like, nice try, sicko. Like, that's a freaking lie. You're not going to get in this temple because I have like a thing where there's always blood when I wipe. Not like a lot, just a little bit. But it's been that way forever. And so I knew, there's nothing good's going to come from getting anything up there. We don't need to add more variables into my butthole situation. It's never going to be the case.
It's already chapped.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is. It feels worked, and I haven't even worked it, It hurts to poop. I never really enjoyed pooping for that reason.
That was actually the reason why the doctor went up there.
You were in pain pooping?
Yeah, but it's a pretty funny story because initially my ear was just randomly ringing. And it was
You thought someone needs to do my butthole and check this out. My ear's ringing. Doctor.
No, so I go to not the pharmacy, but the physician on campus because this was during college. And I was like, hey, my ear's been ringing for the past 2 hours. I need to see someone about this. And
He said, bend over.
well, no, they just slid the fucking thing and they're like, you need to make an appointment. I was like, well, can someone see me today? And they're like, no. I was like, fine. And so I fill it out, got it the soonest they could see me was a week.
Okay.
And so later that day, the ringing stops, but something else develops, which is the chapping of the butthole. And so, I'm going down there to wipe, and I'm just seeing like a lot of blood.
Uh-huh.
And
I'm familiar.
I've seen a little bit before here and there growing up and stuff, but this was just like this is not stopping. And like,
Concerning amount of blood.
yeah.
An open marker, something that just doesn't stop giving. Yeah.
And basically what I decided is, well, I still have this appointment to see a doctor. Basically, I'll just go in there and just say, hey, ear's fine, but something new developed over the week. And so when I got there, it was like a med student. She was just like, yeah, so we're here to see about like your ears ringing. I was like, yeah, it stopped.
Surprise!
I was like, well, it stopped ringing. So
that was
like,
just
I'm
a
not
lie
too
to get
worried.
in.
Yeah, it was my cover to get in.
Yeah. Funny thing about my ear, it's actually in my ass between my cheeks.
It's ringing in my cheeks.
Yeah. I got my cheeks ringing right now.
And so I did that very guy thing. I was just like, yeah, there's a new problem I'm having with my body, and it's with my butthole. Like, there's just a lot of blood in my stool, and like whenever I wipe, and I could tell she was not comfortable. Like, she was like, I thought I was just coming in here for an ear, not a
Yeah, she's
butthole.
like, I'm ear, nose, throat. You're looking for butthole, penis, and taint. For that doctor, the butthole, penis, taint doctor.
So they had to set up the little like curtain partitions and stuff and get me in a gown, and
Nice.
I was in like that kind of cradle fetal position, but like legs way up.
Oh, I'm very familiar with that position.
And then she, got the hand, snapped the glove, got like the whole thing ready with Vaseline.
Wait, right out the gate, they went in there. They didn't take a look at what's going on outside. Maybe it was just like a little cut or something. They said, "Hey, yeah, it straight into your butthole." Really?
Well, yeah, they're like, we can inspect in there and see. Because I was like, my main concern is if it's like a tumor or something, or like something really bad happened, like ruptured. And she's like, okay, like, here, put on this gown. Nurse is gonna come in here and set up the partition. Like, I'll be back in 5. The best part though is when she's in there and kind of like feeling around. You can.
That
feel
was
it.
the best part for you?
Oh yeah, totally worth all the student fees to get in there. No, I spoke up. I was like, so are you seeing anything in there? She immediately like gets out. It's like, nope, nothing. Just everything looks fine. It just, you're just wiping too hard and kind of chapping the butthole. Like, please get out now. And so I had to walk back to like economics class with squeaky cheeks.
I thought you were going to say, are you seeing anyone to the med student? That's where I thought that was going. I was like, Robert, you dog.
So do you come here often?
That's when I found out about the boner button. Did the thing up your butt make you horny that time?
No, she didn't get that far.
Wow. That's so surprising to me. I've always been very anti-butt because of that. Because medical stuff, the idea of it makes me fucking shiver. I've never had a doctor get anything up there. I've had
Have
a
you
lot
ever
of...
had a suppository?
I had an enema.
Oh, okay.
But you just get the tip of an enema bottle in there. And then it does the job,
So you've never had to put the pill up your ass?
No, absolutely not. Have you?
Yeah.
God, you've had so much butt action, Robert.
Well, I was like 7 or 8, and I had this wicked like flu virus thing, and the doctor was like, well, I've got something that will stop the diarrhea and stop the vomiting. It was kind of just, he was like, this one thing will kind of cure all of your symptoms. He's like, but there's a big catch. And my mom was like, what's that? And he pulls out like, he's like, it's a suppository. And I was just like, okay. I was like, so what's that? And mom's like, it doesn't go in your mouth. It goes somewhere else.
Did he lube that bad boy up?
Yeah, they come like lubed and stuff.
Robert, I'm so sorry that happened to you as a young man.
Yeah, I was just like, why? I just kept asking, like, why would they do this? Like, why would they develop a pill that doesn't go in your mouth?
There's got to be a version of it for your mouth. You just got to see an old-timey country doctor that said, no. We actually have not come that far in technology yet. Yeah, we put men on the moon, but we got to get this medicine up your butt. Get out of here, man. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Every single girl I've ever had sex with has wanted in my ass. Whether they've said it or just hinted at it, I don't know. Maybe I got some juicy plump ones, but I do believe that all women, they want to fuck asses. They want to fuck a boy's ass. They want to fuck a man's ass. I think it's just it's a thing in their DNA. It's the wildest thing in the world. Recently, girls started talking about pegging all the time and loving pegging and stuff. It's something else. I've always said no. I've always been like, I got a whole situation back there. But I did say yes recently.
How'd that go? Did she square up?
She square up?
Yeah. Did she? She's like, all right, let's do this.
Oh, I thought you meant fight me. I was like, no, she was asking. She wasn't pissed. Kind of, man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get anything in there. I wasn't able to. It was fun trying, Hey, that was something, I tried all the different positions.
What did you try to get in there?
I first her finger. Mm-hmm. And then she like a penis, like a dildo penis that you strap on. Neither. Couldn't get either in. Got the tip of her finger in. Pretty much had a heart attack. Pretty much screamed at the top of my lungs. I don't know. I wasn't able to do it.
I was like, you did? Or
Then, second time around, got her finger in. And I feel like she got close to my boner button. I could feel something. I was going, But all the risk and prep and work to get in there,
it's not worth it.
not worth it, man. You know what's great? A good old-fashioned blowjob.
Yeah.
Stay out the ass. Just do traditional stuff. The type of sex you read about in the Bible. You know what I mean? If it didn't exist in olden times, it shouldn't exist now.
What if it existed in the New Testament, but not the Old Testament?
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that works for me. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you when Trump got elected, my boss at the time, Gino, the big, the 300-pound black guy?
I remember him, yeah, at UT Dallas.
Yeah. So the morning after the election results came in, I was in the office on my laptop just working at the main conference table. We just all share that as like our workspace. He comes in, puts down a piece of paper. It's his resume, slides it to me, and I was like, "What's this?" He's like, "I want to apply to be your house slave." I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, since Trump's elected, I thought I would just get ahead of the curve and start picking out like a good white person to basically get back into slavery with," because he was like, with Trump in the White House, we know that's coming back sooner or later. And I lost my fucking mind.
Oh my God. That is a ballsy joke.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like after like 10 minutes of laughing, he was like, "Yeah, so if you need someone to help you, curate your Netflix, test your popcorn for any poison, help you pick out a new recliner." He's like, "I'm your man." It's like, "Here's my resume."
Did you hire him?
No. We never got to that point with Trump. He didn't get the second term.
He got close, man.
The dumbest thing I ever did, and I don't consider it that dumb myself, but whenever I tell the story to people, they like want to yell at me and tell me how wrong it is and how stupid I was for doing it. But even to this day, I'm still like, it wasn't that bad. Like, no one got hurt. I'm like, if I could do it again, maybe.
What was it?
I was riding shotgun with my friend Jellybean, who is real and is MIA in Louisiana right now. Again, Jellybean, if you're listening to this, fucking call us back. Get your ass back to Texas.
Did you say he's MIA?
Yeah, what happened is he moved back to Louisiana a few years ago, like after high school, and we kept in touch pretty regularly, but he was one of those dudes that just did not fuck with social media at all.
Sick.
So he was never on any of that, and because we were just high school buddies, I only had his phone number, and that was like really the only way to contact him. And at the beginning of 2020, because Katie and I were going to New Orleans, he lived in Covington, which is just north of the lake from New Orleans. I was texting him like, "Yo, dude, I'm going to be in New Orleans this weekend with my now fiance. Like, you should come down and meet her and we should catch up." And it just kept going to like straight to text message. And then I tried calling the number. Operator was saying like, "It's disconnected. It doesn't work anymore." I was even like, okay, this guy must have blocked me or something. And so I even called him from like Katie's phone. Still the same shit. And I asked all my friends from high school that like knew him as well. Cody, my brother Grant, Connor. They were all like, "I haven't heard from him since like 2018. I was like, damn, I was the last guy that heard from him.
Well, I don't think this fool is real. I've only heard people say that you know him, not that they know him. Well, Jellybean, Robert knows him. I go, "You met Jellybean?" They go, "No, I haven't met Jellybean. He's a thing of tales and legends."
Well, if we got my friend Connor or my brother Grant in here, they would attest to Jellybean. And I'll show you pictures after this of him.
I mean, you can show me pictures of anything and say it's Jellybean. You can show me pictures of you and anyone I don't know and say it's Jellybean. What am I going to do? Say it's not?
It's a picture of me with Bigfoot. That's Jellybean.
That's Jellybean. It's me and J Bean.
Okay, so anyways, we're driving down the road. It's about like 11 p.m. We're going to Walmart to get some rainbow suspenders. And he had a, those old like pop guns, the little cap guns?
Oh, yeah.
He had one in the back, like the back seat of his truck, just because he had it left over from like New Year's.
Never know. Might need to pull that thing.
Yeah. And I bring it up to the front and I'm just looking at it. And I was like, "Oh, does this have caps in it?" And he's like, "I think so." So I roll down the window and start popping caps to the car next to us, and it immediately like skirts off because like a light comes off and it makes noise.
They think you're shooting at them.
Yeah. And Jellybean freaked the fuck out. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, I can't trust you with anything. Like, I'm gonna have to do the child lock on your fucking door now. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?" I was like, "What?" It was pretty funny. He thought we were actually shooting at him.
You're in Louisiana at that point, right?
No, we were in Lakeway, Texas.
It's still Texas. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
If I thought someone was shooting at me, I'd shoot back at them, right?
No,
Wouldn't you?
Yeah. If I had a gun on me, yeah.
Yeah. So you pulled that little pistol, and you let the pop bang off, and you let the light show, and you just gave up and let
freak
go.
The fuck out.
Wow. Oh my God. That could have been a way different story. It could have been a headline.
Well, yeah, that like when I told Katie that story, she's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
Oh.
Like, I thought you were supposed to be the smart one of your friend group.
Jellybean doesn't sound like he should be the smart person. His name's Jellybean. He should be the fun guy. You know what I mean? He should be doing dumb stuff, keg stands,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I mean, he was the silly jokester of the group.
Until the fucking gun incident with
Yeah,
you. Probably
I
set him
fucking
straight.
showed him up that
He probably
night.
did block you. He's like, yeah, I can't fuck with Robert. He's too wild. Robert's a wild boy, man. He's
This
holding
fucking
like
wild
gunplay.
ass Texan.
Yeah.
Need to get away. But yeah, it's like looking back at it, it's like, yeah, like what if he pulled out a gun, or like what if he freaked out and instead of just going straight, like he swerved off.
Get you all off the. Yeah, what if he got into a crash? He was so
Yeah.
scared, or
Like,
slammed
we
on
could
his
have caused
brake
a
and
crash.
flipped. Wow.
Honestly, if I had, a few shots and a couple beers again, I might do it again.
Let's get you to pull that gun again. See what happens, man.
Pull that cap gun on you.
Yeah, for real. Wow. Most dangerous thing in the world, man. An unloaded gun.
Unloaded.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, imagine you're holding an unloaded gun and someone thinks you're trying to kill you, so they try to kill you and you can't shoot back. That's you and that cap gun.
Yeah.
You and that cap gun sounds like the scariest situation in the world. Where you pop off and then someone's like, "Oh, now I have to shoot Robert," and you're like, it's just a cap gun, buddy.
Yeah.
I got no recourse here, man.
But on their side, they just think you're a horrible shot.
Oh yeah, they think you got that fucking. What's that thing in war where most soldiers miss?
Oh, is it like the psychological thing where they
Yeah.
like, whenever it's like open fire, they just aim like right above their heads?
Yeah, it's wild. I can't remember what it is, but there's like a thing where soldiers in combat miss more in training. And it's just because psychological adrenaline is making you go,
Yeah.
obviously training you'll do better, right? I don't know how the army works, I imagine. They still train you in the army, right? It's not just all video games. You still have to do boot camp and push-ups and stuff, get yelled at.
Yeah, you still go through basic
Training. Yeah, there's still like a guy that,
Even if you wanted to be in the band for like the military band,
you maggot.
you still have to go through basic training.
I knew dudes that were in the Army Reserves band.
Oh yeah,
Bunch of fucking degenerates.
Really?
Barely in shape, but they had to do boot camp. They had to do
Yeah.
basic training. They'd come back. But they'd play in the Army Reserves band. Just a bunch of the softest military men you've ever met. They're incredible.
well yeah.
Great.
They're there to
Christian
get all,
hardcore bands.
They want to get all the perks of like being, in the United States Army or military, whichever branch they go into, but they want to do basically nothing
Yeah, I mean,
except play the Washington Post March or whatever whenever.
that's straight up what they did. They'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's Memorial Day. I got to go to San Francisco and play my fucking trombone for the boys, for the rest of the veterans."
Well, because I was in high school band.
Did you get recruited? Did Army recruiters come to your high school?
Oh, every fucking month.
Wild.
Like, I don't. You were homeschooled the whole time, right?
Till 8th grade, and then I went to a weird private school that was definitely had Army recruiters at it.
Oh,
And
then okay. So the Army, all the recruiters for just the gin pop of high school, they would try and get you at lunch, and they would always have like a pull up bar to be like, hey, who can do the most pull ups in here? We got some shots of super vitamins and a sign up sheet.
Wow, that's a
But-
pretty good method to get high schoolers, right? Who can do the most pull-ups, have some shots of soup. Did high schoolers ever fucking protest that shit? Did high schoolers ever stand next to them with signs or say
No.
like, hey, we don't want you here? Is that normal in high schools?
No, all high schoolers are basically fucking degenerates, really. So the most you might get is like they might try to throw food at the recruiter or whatever, just
Nice.
pull a prank on him and just say, well, yeah, I'm a hermaphrodite. Like, will you still accept me? Like, it wasn't like actual
Do they accept
protest.
hermaphrodites?
I don't know. I'd need to look at the sign up sheet.
Is hermaphrodite still the accepted term?
Cut that.
We don't have to cut that. We don't have to cut. I'm going to Google hermaphrodite and see. I feel like there's so many terms for what means hermaphrodite. That's why I go, because that's the one I grew up. You grew up hearing that, right? Hermaphrodite means you're born with both male and female genitalia.
Yeah.
Hermaphrodites, my favorite goddess. Okay, was hermaphrodite? Oh, actually, it says they're stigmatizing and misleading words. Unfortunately, some medical personnel still use and refer to people with certain intersex conditions. We say intersex.
Huh. Okay.
Because they still subscribe to an outdated nomenclature that uses gonadal anatomy as the basis of sex classification. So hermaphrodites, boom, dead. What's alive? The intersex.
Intersex.
Enter the sex. Enter the sex. My favorite thing to say is when someone says they're asexual, I go, asexual little what? I'm asexual. I go, asexual little what? that's my what is that joke? Little pun? It's not a pun, is it? It's just a joke.
No, it's just a little
I think
joke.
it's a pun.
No, a pun
Asexual, asexual little. It's a play on that word, asexual.
Oh, yeah. Then, yeah. It is.
Right? It's a little pun. I'm doing a little pun thing. Yeah. Smart. The highest form of comedy.
Did you ever, like, go to the recruiters at that private school, or you were just like, no, fuck that?
So the weird private school I went to in 8th grade, Cornerstone Christian School, insane. Absolutely insane. We had to protest abortion all the time. They had weird fundamentalist ideology. We would learn in math class about how to cheat on your taxes. Just the craziest shit you'll ever see. Went to high school with multiple people that worked directly with Donald Trump. I mean, not high school, junior high. Kimberly Clark and I can't remember her friend's name, but 2 people I was in the same 8th grade class with, super small class. But the high school there, a bunch of them would go to West Point, and I think it's called Annapolis.
Yeah.
Super nice schools, supposedly hard to get into. We had like a direct dude there.
Yeah.
But this school was nuts. So it was literally funded to grow fundamentalist leadership into politics. And like the education was the wildest form of education. It was so weird. Like a big goal for high schoolers was to get involved in local politics. And we did the Junior Statesman of America and set up debate club.
Right.
And it was just like, it was very involved in, like it was in Roseville, California, right? So the Roseville Chamber of Commerce would make friends with the people and the Rosemere City. So when we were in 8th grade, we went to go clean out the area and the yard of the Roseville City Hall, right? And then another time we did the same thing with the Roseville Chamber of Commerce, and we just did it for free. It was like a love language thing. And looking back, it's like, oh, that's how you were building political relationships. Like they were literally building political relationships with the city of Roseville. And it sounds so small time, but it's like the fact that was a focus of ours and like that was built into the curriculum. And another thing is like we memorized titles and authors and descriptions of books instead of reading books. And it was just to be able to seem smart and talk about them. So wild.
It would be like Soft Power, like that book, like political theories.
No, so like instead of like reading
1984,
I'd be like 1984, written by so and so, and then give you a brief description
by George Orwell.
And it's about some shit. Sure. I don't know.
It's like every conservative's kind of like wet dream example of communism gone wrong.
The most interesting title and author example I remember, because it was like a written thing you memorized. It was like there's a correct answer that was like catechisms, was Uncle Tom's Cabin. And the description of Uncle Tom's Cabin was this: a fictional something, I think it was just fictional story, about slavery written by a woman who had never even been to the South. And it's like, look at all the fucking spicy opinions in that. All the spicy opinions in the description
That's a fucking spicy meatball.
on Uncle Tom's Cabin. You know what I mean? Like, get out of here. It was nuts. But so much information like that. They talk about how South American countries are unsuccessful because they were Catholic and Catholics are bad. Swear to God. It was the nuttiest thing in the world.
Not because of the CIA?
When someone said, what about Japan? Why are they successful? Mr. Uttinger, who was the high school teacher there, laughed and said, Japan, after we blew them away in World War II, realized they needed to get some catching up. So they started copying everything that we do. So they're finally catching up a little bit, but it's because they're copying the evangelical free market mindset. And it's like, dude, like looking back was like, you guys were trying to raise fascists. They did. It's nuts. Everyone that came out of that school that didn't go like fucking
It was like
crazy.
a feeder school to the Republican Party.
Nuts, yeah. But I got kicked. I was in the principal's office like every single day. I was like really involved in class debates, and I would always pick like the wrong side. Like they'd be like whatever, like they were like pictures of Jesus and God are a sin, and I'd be like bullshit, and they'd be like, okay, well we have to do a class debate about it. And then because I would do well or I'd make people feel bad, I would literally go to the principal's office. My mom would get called in, and it'd be like, yeah, JT was arguing for the heretic side in the class debate, and his side was doing pretty freaking good. But also I'd like argue with the teachers when they would butt in. But it's like, if you're going to butt into a debate, I'll debate you too. They get so mad. Man, it was so... And I was also like, you know, a fucking 8th grade kid that was getting taught just the most insane shit you could ever hear. And I wasn't smart, but I was smart enough to go like, this is fucking stupid. But I got kicked out.
Yeah.
I danced at the JSA conference. At JSA, there's like a dance you can go to.
What's the JSA?
Junior Statesman of America. It's like a debate club, but it's really heavily themed around building like political leaders. Yeah.
It's like the FFA for politics.
Exactly. It's that.
Okay.
But then got kicked out of that. Didn't come back. For high school, I went to Christian Life Academy, which was Gary Gubitz. He was an HP executive in France, super smart guy. Started his own school, pretty shitty school, wasn't accredited. Super awesome couple that ran it. But it was just for kids that had gotten kicked out of public school or continuation school mostly. And then some people involved in different churches. It was fine. You know, education wasn't awesome. I graduated when I was 15 because you can do this thing called the high school proficiency exam when you're in high school.
Yeah.
And if you test at a GED level, like then you get to get a GED equivalent.
Yeah.
So you graduate from high school. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. So I did that when I was 15 and graduated high school because I was like, I'm going to get the fuck out of that shit.
Damn.
Started going to community college. I didn't like that much either.
What's funny with your school story though is like in Texas, at least at my school, because like everything was about football. So it was basically like we were trying to be a feeder school to like college football programs, and it's like all the money was spent for the football program. But yours was just straight up like, nah, like we're gonna put all of our money towards building programs to teach these people to, you know, basically go on and run campaigns.
Tons
like
work in right-wing politics now. An insane amount of people that I knew work in right-wing politics in one way or another. And like a very, very surprisingly far right politics these people do.
Are we talking like Alex Jones far white, or more of like a...
Less conspiratorial, but in that vein. Like the type of things where it's like, Trump is a perfect candidate for them to a point, but then they go, okay, we do need a real Christian. Like, most of these people are true believers. That's the thing about these high schools is they're training up people that are insane, far-right Christian fascists. They're true fucking believers, though. They believe that shit. There's zero doubt that this is God's way, and they love God. This is more
like
argument.
a Mike Pence.
Yeah. More Mike Pence and Mitt Romney if he was Christian. Mitt Romney, most for real dude about it. I don't like Mitt Romney. I don't like his politics. But he is the most for real dude. Probably a CIA agent, but I say that a lot. Every time Mitt Romney comes up, because I bring him up, I want to tell people, you know, he's probably a fucking CIA asset, right?
Yeah.
Nah, it's crazy talk. It's true, though. It's true. The thing about the high school I went to is it was like unaccredited. I got to bullshit my way through a lot of classes.
Yeah.
But this one time I took a trip and then I came back, and because of that I had missed like a big paper I was supposed to write, and my teacher was like, hey, like you were going to get a good grade in this class, but you didn't write this one paper. I understand, just fell through the cracks. I'm going to give you an opportunity to write a paper again. Just make it a 3-page research paper on anything. And so he was a Jewish guy from New York originally.
Yeah.
And I did my paper on 9/11 and I made the font size like 13, double spaced that shit, Times New Roman. I remember new Curry or whatever it is, the magic font that makes everything giant. And then I put pictures in it. And when you flip the page, the first thing you see is the plane hitting the 2 towers from 9/11. And it's just talking about like death tolls, no information at all, just like how sad it is.
Just numbers.
Dude, I give this to Mr. Gubitz at the end of the year, and he opens it up, and like he's laughing so hard, he's like holding his fans in his face. He's like, dude, he goes, this is one of the funniest things. He's like, he goes to another classroom and shows his wife, and I can see them in like this little kitchen classroom that's right off the side from the main room. And she's reading it and she's laughing and they're holding it up in the air. Fool gave me a B-. Yeah.
Like, was it just did it have any conspiracies in it, or
Nothing. It was just straight up like, yeah, 9/11 happened, 2001, 2,000 people died. Flight 93, I had a picture of the Flight 93. You got Flight 93. They fought and won, fighting the terrorists. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like bullshit. I was 15. I had no idea what I was saying. But a lot of photos. A lot of photos to try to take up. And he was like, you just cited these photos? Like, just cited the photos. Just cite them. Oh, man. I didn't learn much in school. I learned more outside of school, in school, than in school. You know, I read more books when I left school.
Yeah.
Still don't, have good grammar. That's the thing is like, I'm good at, like, I can talk to someone and they'll be like, damn, that's a convincing argument. You know, hey, you'll win that argument with someone. But if they're like, put that into writing, I'll be like, I'll look like a 5-year-old, dude. Try to put that into an email, I'll look like a 10-year-old wrote that email. You know?
Man. I'm trying to think of, because I went to Texas public school, and being in Austin though, it's like all the really bad stories you hear about, like Texas education or just public education in general in America, like it's not that true in Austin, because I guess everyone's just like, well, no, like we actually give a shit about the kids, so like our school districts are all really good, and it's a big reason why people are like moving here besides the tax breaks. But yeah, like our debate class was kind of similar, maybe not as extreme as yours, but like people would go up and with our debate and speech class, you know, one of the main projects was you have to come up with a persuasive speech. And at the end of it though, like the Q&A, like people can kind of argue and you get into a debate about stuff with the class. And so all these dudes from FFA or the football team would be like, yeah, I think 5 guys in a row, one class period, all did theirs over like gun control and why we don't need it.
Nice.
And this was the same year Sandy Hook had happened.
Nah, you were in high school, you're in Sandy Hook?
Yeah, I think
Am I older than you? How old are you?
I'm 26.
Oh, yeah, and I left high school
you graduated at 15.
Yeah.
I turned 15 when I was in 8th grade.
What, are you disabled?
No, maybe.
Did you get held back?
Yeah, I got held back in kindergarten.
How many times?
Once.
Once? What happened in kindergarten?
Basically, the first time around, I was just a really shitty kid. Like, I was in and out of the principal's office, and my mom was like, there's nothing really, there's no book really saying, like, you're disabled or, like, have any learning disability, but she's like, let me just hold you back, because, like...
You got to do this again. They said, you need a mulligan.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, and also like my brother had just gotten diagnosed with ADD. He was in 3rd grade, and so he was getting held back as well.
Grant's older than you.
Yeah,
Grant's that much older than you.
Yeah, he's going to turn 30 in March.
Wow, he looked great for 30.
Yeah, and so I think just what my mom decided is like, I'll just hold everyone back 1 year and just fucking keep it at that.
So he got held back, and you got held back in the same year.
Yeah.
I think that just to make it easier.
Yeah, it was to make it easier. Plus, we were moving school districts that year, so it wasn't as weird to us because like we didn't have to go back to the same school and potentially like see that teacher from the year before or our friends.
It was a secret.
It was a clean break.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, I told everyone in kindergarten. I was like, yeah, I've done kindergarten before.
Oh, this is
like,
your first time?
Yeah.
I've done this before. This is how you share grapes.
I burned through the reading curriculum so fucking fast that second time.
Yeah, I bet you were a baby genius compared to the rest of those 5-year-olds.
Oh, I was
because you were 6.
I was the class favorite.
I guess you were the teacher's favorite. They were all probably jealous. Probably the strongest boy in there for sure, too.
Yeah, I was one of the tallest.
Just a massive genius in there.
One of the most literate, had the most adult teeth in there.
Wow. Yeah, you were biting through stuff left and right. Man, how old were you when you learned how to read?
That's a good question, because maybe like 4.
4?
I think that's when they tried to start teaching you to read.
I think around that time is when I learned how to read.
I was
3, 4.
By age 6, I was reading like
Dostoevsky.
I was reading Mein Kampf and War and Peace.
Just to compare.
Just a little comparisons.
Did you read Mein Kampf?
No.
Are you lying?
I've thought about it. Because I found it on, I found like the audiobook on, I think it was Barnes & Noble's website one time in middle school. I was like, wouldn't that be funny to like hear someone try and read that shit to me?
Well, I wonder who does the voice acting for that.
It's probably someone who's really desperate.
I read snippets of it, but I didn't read it. It's not a very good book, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Someone could convince me otherwise, but it seems like, I don't know. I'll be honest, man. Fascism seems fucking lame.
It's like Hitler's better live. You need to see him live.
I imagine. I don't know, dude. If I didn't know anything about Hitler or the Nazis, and someone just wanted to convince me of fascism, I talked to him, I'd be like, yeah, dude, that sounds fucking lame. You sound like a psycho. Sounds like you want a small group of people to control everything because you think that you guys know better than most people. I think most people, the general masses, have good ideas.
Honestly, I think Mein Kampf's just one of those like footnotes of Hitler. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's like for communists, they have like the writings of Karl Marx, and it's like it's almost like you have to read those to like be a part of the movement. And like even people who aren't like, I think the writings of like Karl Marx and like Lenin are more highly regarded than Hitler's. Like I don't even think most fascists are like, yeah, Mein Kampf, that's my fucking jam. Like you need to read it. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of them. It's like, yeah, he's not good on the page.
I think most fascists like Franco, and then that dude in Peru. What's his name? Not Peru, Chile.
Chavez?
No, Pinochet.
Oh, okay.
Chavez, no. Fascists like Pinochet. I don't know. I just think it's lame. I just think it's so lame. I know that's not an academic opinion, but it's like, you try to sell me on fascism, I go, man, that shit's Lenin. I go, that shit's tight. I read Lenin, I go, yeah, that shit lights me up. I read Lenin, I go, yeah, that shit lights me. It just seems cool.
Have you ever seen the Lenin statue in Seattle?
No, I've seen photos of it though. Did you go see it while you were there?
Yeah, we rode past it, and then on our way back, we stopped and like went out to see it. And I was looking up on Wikipedia just because it's like, why the fuck is the statue here?
Donated, privately owned, right?
Yeah, it's privately owned. Apparently back in the 90s after the wall fell and everything, this guy was over there who lived in Seattle, but he was like he was fascinated with Eastern European art, like from the Soviet artwork. And he just found that Lenin statue that I think it wasn't in Russia. It was like Poland or maybe like one of the
stands.
Yeah. And it was in a junkyard just because the regime just got taken down. Everyone was like, we just need to kind of burn all this shit. Like, we don't want to really think about it right now. But he was one of those early guys that's like, no, we should preserve it just because of the historical significance, but also like it is a work of art. It's a bronze statue. Mm-hmm. It's of a man that like we really don't agree with right now or probably ever again.
I will agree with Lenin eternally.
Some Lenin stands still out there like JT.
I love Lenin.
So like he bought it, got it shipped over and his whole plan was to make like a Eastern European, like Russian restaurant and have that be like the focal point outside as people entered. Obviously that didn't go through. He dies. The people who inherited it, it's been on the market. Like I think you can still find the people who own it privately, and I think they want like $250,000.
You got it?
Yeah.
We got to raise $250,000 to get that statue.
And so, yeah, you always hear the stories of people like wanting it removed. It's it's this horrible, mark on Seattle and American soil, but it's like, well, it's privately owned property. So it can be there if it wants to be. It's not obscene or anything. So everyone's always been like, no, like this is what America's about. And you're just mad because it's not working in your favor right now. But yeah, so we went to it, and like, apparently one thing that's really popular is like people will paint the hands red to show the blood of like the Communist Party that he spilled.
Get out of here. Really? Yeah. They put blood on Lenin's hands?
Well, they paint the statue's hands red to represent blood.
Get out of here. I'm going to do that on every fucking U.S. president and state senator ever done. Put up Lenin's numbers next to Reagan. Look like an idiot. My
Look
God.
like a chump.
My God.
But yeah, and then like for like the holidays, sometimes they'll like throw like a like a Christmas wreath around his neck.
Nice, I like that.
They like dress him up and shit.
Man, putting blood on Lenin's hands. Pfft, Lenin. God. Someone. If it was like a Stalin statue, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But Lenin? Get out of here, dude. He's so pure of heart. So pure of heart.
I mean, he still like led the revolution, and like he's got blood on his hands. It's not like Stalin numbers though.
I mean, blood on his hands. I would say the blood is on the hands of the czars. The blood is on the hands of, the feudalists that worked the peasants to their bone, Those are
true.
the blood's on their hands. If Lenin and his people stand up for him, I go, yeah, get that shit. Let's get that shit. Top of the morning.
So yeah, JT and the Fart Locker, we are looking for investors to bring the Lenin statue to Texas.
We got to get the Lenin statue in Texas. We got to put that at the Capitol.
Right next to the 10 Commandments.
We got to put the statue of Lenin right next to the Confederate Memorial. Put blood on both of their hands,
Oh, I would
Absolute think piece.
I would dunk red paint all over the Confederate statues.
Rubbing and yum until I do a feel boy, baby. Rubbing and yum until I do a feel boy, baby. Rubbing and yum until I do a feel.
Do you know what I really like to see?
What?
I like to see the Gaddafi murals in Northern Ireland.
Oh, they have Gaddafi murals?
Gaddafi fucked with IRA heavy, gave them hella weapons, gave them hella funds.
Okay.
Was like, you guys rock. I'm all about self-determination. Some bunch of Palestinian leaders sent stuff over too. Nelson Mandela and Bobby Sands wrote each other letters from prison and shit. And so all across Northern Ireland, the murals, they throw up big, massive Gaddafi murals. And I'm like, I'm not like a Gaddafi head or nothing, but you never see a mural of that dude, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine seeing a Gaddafi mural in an English-speaking country? That's just a few, but people that, want the right to a united Ireland. They think that there's, 31 counties that should be one country and not 26 plus 6.
Yeah.
Those people that Gaddafi gave weapons and money to, they're like, sick, Gaddafi gang forever. Gaddafi also told the Nation of Islam that he would fund and arm their revolution. And Nation of Islam said, whoa, slow down, Gaddafi. Isn't that wild? Gaddafi told the Nation of Islam. He said this to him on a fucking video screen at a conference. Was like, if you guys want to fight for your right.
Oh, he did it. Like he did it that recent where video call was a thing?
Dude, yeah. I'm going to Google it right now. Because
Gaddafi's been in power he was in power for decades.
Yeah, Gaddafi, by the time he was 27, had already fucking led a revolution and quadrupled the amount of literacy in fucking Liberia. Is that where he's from? No, Libya.
Yeah,
I almost said Liberia. Liberia is the weird country that we made. Gaddafi, Nation of Islam is what I'm Googling. Nation of Islam.
What if we got a Margaret Thatcher statue and painted blood on her?
Put on her,
hands?
right next to the... Okay, where we go. He did load them $5 million. 1996.
Damn.
Gaddafi pledged $1 billion to the Nation of Islam after meeting with Mr. Farrakhan in Libya. Farrakhan condemns the killing of Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi. Man, I'll be honest. Gaddafi's kind of tight. Oh, also apparently the Black Panthers. Yeah, dude, you got to get me off this Gaddafi shit because I'm like, you're pretty sick, dude. I've read the Green Book and it's not that tight. It's kind of just like a perversion of what could be good. It's not too fucked up though. At the same time, I'm like, man, you're kind of sick. Everything I learned about it, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty sick. You know that thing about the models?
Which models?
Dude, he invited 200 models, the hottest models of Italy, out to fucking Libya's palace. And they're thinking they're going to do that Epstein shit, the thing that every other world leader does with them. He sits them down, gives them all the Quran, and teaches them about Islam. Gaddafi. Also, all his security guards are women. Okay, Gaddafi.
Oh, I've heard about that though.
That's tight.
Well, he's kidnapping young girls to basically train them to be his bodyguards.
Really?
Yeah,
I gotta Google that. Really? Is he doing that? Man, I was so lit on what Gaddafi was too until you just told me that. How do we know that? Did the New York Times say that, or did like a real publication that does news say that?
It was I watched a documentary. It was on Netflix, so that's my source. But
Man, that's probably
the
right.
documentary was pretty interesting though, because it was posed as like a guidebook to like how to become a successful dictator, and each episode was basically telling you about a different dictator through time. So it was like Hitler, Stalin, Gaddafi, but it also showed like where they failed and like, you know, they took the wrong steps to be a successful dictator. But then on the last episode, it's about North Korea, and they kind of pose them as like, you know, congratulations, you've now created a successful dictatorship that should run forever and ever. And I think it's just for them, it's like they've been able to keep it together through the lineage.
You know what they say? Can't win them all. Man, what a roller coaster I felt about Gaddafi. I was so little on all the shit he did, and I go, man, they really do that? I gotta go. I'm gonna dig into a hole. Learn more about him. But I don't know. I feel like learning more about him is dangerous too. Because what if I get won over again?
You get one of, he's like, yeah, I mean that whole thing with his car. But then I learned about this.
I don't know, that IRA thing. I used to go Gaddafi. That other shit, I go, that's lame. I don't like that. But man, that IRA shit makes me think that's tight. But I don't know about the rest of that stuff. The Italian model thing, that's tight. The raising literacy and, you know, making show. It used to be that you could come from any African country, go to Libya, work for a few months, then return to whatever country you are and support your family for a few months.
Yeah.
And now it's just a slave market, thanks to Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, worse than Gaddafi. Hillary Clinton has more blood on her hands than Gaddafi. That's the fucking hill I'll die on.
I'm going to have to argue there that I think Gaddafi's official count is higher than hers.
I doubt it. Well, was she Secretary of State? How many drone killings did she oversee? What would she say about the fall of Libya? That she watched it and liked it? How she just sits in the
she
war.
laughed.
Yeah, man, that's wild. That is wild. Man, Gaddafi also was in love with Condoleezza Rice and would call her his desert rose. Oh, that was funny.
Would he call her up at night?
He'd send her gifts all the time. Gaddafi would. Yeah. Hillary Clinton never pull no shit like that.
What kind of gifts would he send her though?
I don't know. Probably jewelry, right? Girls love that.
Yeah, I bet he got him with like jewelry, some really nice spices and silks. Maybe even like a roasted goat leg in like a dry ice box.
What does Condoleezza Rice do now?
Oh, I think she works at a university.
Wow, what a chump.
Like I feel like a lot of politicians, like once they retire, they either just dead ass retire because they come from a rich family and they can do that.
Private sector shit.
Yeah, or they, you know, go work for Blackwater.
I could get a job at Halliburton tomorrow if they'd let me.
Yeah.
All right.
Run the side, run the side, run the side, run the side. Swerve, the rims is glistening. They got see the wood cause the top is missing. I sleep on dreams cause it's paper I'm chasing. My roots come from Texas, this inflation. Run the side, run the side, run the side, run the side. Run the side, run the side, run the side.